Okay, let me get the wrong way to take this video out of the way and the accusations that I'm sure are going to come. I'm not blaming an entire ethnic group or an entire race or really an entire country. I'm blaming individuals who will display this behavior. But I'm going to be honest and say, when you hear about individuals displaying this behavior when you're a black person, it makes you cautious or second guess if you want to go to that country where this behavior is from. Because it doesn't have to be everybody to do something to you or cause you problems. It can just be a few people. You know, it's like not everyone's a thief, but we all have locks on our doors. Okay. And I will say that I have rarely had this problem from people in the ethnic group to be discussed who live here, live in the United States. And I definitely can't say I've encountered racism from Koreans who teach martial arts in America, in the United States. So I want to be very clear here. If you are going to take what I'm going to show you and explain my position, if you want to make it seem like I'm trying to throw every Korean person under the bus, then I'm telling you right now, that's you. You have a bias. And if you're going to say that I'm even talking about people who happen to be Korean who may have trained me, that's wrong too, because I'm not. So you can't say he's talking about his instructor so-and-so, because I'm not. I am absolutely not. I have to use up 2 minutes of video to say this because I know how people try to twist stuff. So if you're still going to twist at this point, you're just a person that likes to cause drama and take tails back and forth, okay? So that's on you. That's not on me. Now, that being said, the reason why I'm making this video is I saw a video, I cannot remember whose channel it was, and it's a channel that I like. But he was saying a reason, how do you put it? Well, basically, if your instructor has never visited the country of origin for the martial art that he's teaching or she's teaching, then that makes that person an illegitimate instructor, or you shouldn't trust that person as an instructor because they've never been to the country that the martial arts come from. And I was kind of like, it's two reasons. And the first one is not racial, but it's going to sound really arrogant. But honestly, I can tell you, I've seen so many people in the United States, and I can speak for the DC area because I live in the DC area. There's so many people in the DC area that are really, really good. It's like, if I was going to be part of a big org, I don't need to go overseas. I can stay right here and get the stuff that I need. Honestly, I don't. If I was still, especially, I could definitely vouch for judo. If I was still super active in the org right now, there would be no need for me to go to to Japan to learn judo when we got people in Maryland Judo Association are so good, people from Japan are coming over here. And what is her name? Sensei Shepherd is here in the U.S. too. So she's come to the East Coast. She's come to the D.C. area. And I'm just going to put, I'm not going to put a link to her for this video. I think I'll do a separate video about her. She is really good. That's one of the best instructors I've ever seen, period. That woman is just bad. That's that woman I was telling you about, that red belt. That woman is like, she's the truth. So if you're in a situation like that, why do you need to go to Japan? You wouldn't need to go to Japan. Why would you need to go to the country of origin for that martial art? Now, I noticed, like with karate, I think a lot of people just like to go to Japan, straight up. I think a lot of people just like to go to Japan. Because I'd like to go to Japan, not even for martial arts necessarily. I just like to go down to, like to see what anime looks like over there, and I've met people from that country. And so one of my friends lived there for a while, so now I'm curious. But we're not talking about Japanese martial arts in this, if you look at the title. We're talking about Korean martial arts. and really specifically how a black person who's a Korean martial artist might feel if they hear or see this type of stuff that's coming out about racism towards foreign black people who come to Korea. Now, just proving in that the Korean people who are in America, I would have never guessed that this happened there on the strength of of the people I've met from Korea, because the people who are in the United States that are from Korea don't behave that way. I've never had any of them say anything to me out of the way outlandish. Even back in the day during the 90s, what was the name of that movie? Oh, it was like when they had those Boys in the Hood movies and Spike Lee movies where they would show like the black person goes into the Korean store owner's store and the Korean store owner is being racist towards the black person. That type of stuff. That type of stuff would only happen if I went to a specific neighborhood where sometimes people would take stuff. And what really opened my eyes too is now there was one Korean store owner who in my hometown, whenever I would go to the store, that store, they would look at me funny. What it was I thought they were looking at me funny. And then when I got old enough to be able to just travel by myself, I had a car finally. I just stopped and went to that store. Because what I said was, hey, they act funny, I'm just not going to their store. I don't care what color they are. You mistreat me, I'm not coming to your store. I ain't got to pick at you. I'm just not coming to your store. I was like, I'll just stop here. And then I went through there, and I saw one of the owners that looked like she kind of recognized me. And she says, he said, I guess you thought I was looking at you, huh? I was like, well, yes, I thought you were looking at me. You want to bring it up? He's like, no, I was looking at your friends that you were hanging with. And the people weren't even black people. They were like white. He's like, no, they do things. And you didn't even know that. So you have to be careful. Sometimes they'll bring you in the store as cover. They think we're looking at them and they take stuff. I was like, what? He said, yeah. So, again, I would never have thought, just from my own experience, my own personal experience, okay? My own personal experience, which you can't always go by, I would have never thought that, well, if I go to Korea, I'm not going to have any problem with racism. So maybe I can go one day and train at the Kuki Kwan, or just maybe there's a, Taekwondo in the park or something. But let's look at some of these clips that are going on, that these are people who are, the first one is going to be from Asian Boss, where he's talking about how people in Korea perceive black people. I'm just going to play a few clips of that.
흑인에 대해서 어떤 편견이나 선입견을 가지고 있는 것 같나요?
아프리카에서 왔다고 그렇게 생각을 주로 할 것 같고, 아무래도 좀 놀리는 약간 그런 것들.
그럼 어떤 직업을 가질 수가 있나요?
그냥 예술. 예술이거나 힘을 쓰거나 그런 거.
스포츠 같은 거.
네.
이제 싸우면은 무조건 진다. 힘이 굉장히 강하다. 제가 이제 농구를 굉장히 좋아하는데 이제 스포츠 같은 걸 해도 이제 굉장히 차이가 많이 나니까.
그러니까 막 흑인은 막 위험하다 이런 선입견이 많이 있는 것 같아요. 막 영화에서도 막 총 쏘고 막 마약하고 이런 것 때문에.
뭐 흑형, 흑누나 그렇게 이렇게 부른다고 하는데 왜 이런 호칭이 생겼다고 생각을 하세요?
아무래도 이제 인종이 다르니까.
Because they're black?
굳이 누나, 형.
근데 저는 오히려 더 친근해서 그렇게 편하게 부르려고 흑형 이렇게 하는 것 같아요.
친근하면 좀 누나, 형 이렇게 많이 하니까.
그런 발언 자체
모두니가 형은 아닐 테고 형 누나가 아닐 테고 하나의 단어만을 묶어버리는 거잖아요. 그래서 그런 게 조금 차별적인 게 아닌가.
시대가 계속 변하면 변할수록 외국인들이 들어오고 같이 사는 거는 어쩔 수 없는 현상이라고 생각하기 때문에 그 사실을 그냥 받아들이고, 반대로 우리도 외국에 나가서 차별받지 않길 원하잖아요. 그런 것처럼 한국에 있는 외국인들한테도 똑같은 마음으로 대하고 해야 된다고 생각해요.
Yes, a voice of reason.
So do you have any personal experience that you've encountered or you've seen or heard?
Where to start? Where to start?
There's like little things like people won't sit beside you on the subway, which is,
Yes.
I mean, fine by me, like give me all the space. But then we were out one night at a hip hop night, and this girl like stepped on my foot, and I was like, oh, sorry, you just like stepped on me, and she was like, you nigger, you shouldn't even be in this country. And I looked at her and I said, you're at a hip hop night, girl.
I know.
Where do you think that this music came from? And I was like, first of all,
Precisely.
Wow.
don't ever say that word. I'm like, I'm a grown woman now. If it was me in 2003, there would have been no discussion.
The old
You
me.
would have been, yeah, if it was the old me, you would have been, you know, it would have been a different story.
And the second one is going to be from, what is her name? This is a lady that I think is actually teaching English. Oh, Kimmy Spark. And I want you to see what they're dealing with. It's fair use. And then I'm just going to give you a little brief tip of how you think, what do you think that's going to make me think as somebody who's practicing Korean martial art?
Like, guys, help me. When I go to Seoul, for some reason, it's like there's some sort of spotlight on me, and it's so annoying. Oh, I get so mad. It just burns my heart. Every time I go to Seoul, people are staring at me, people are taking pictures of me, people come and just bring their camera and try to take a picture with me. Seoul is so diverse. Like, I don't understand that. I'm in Daejeon. Daejeon is like, you know, it's not as diverse as Seoul. And even my area right now, I'm like the only foreigner here. So I don't understand why I'm having a great experience here, but once I touch down Seoul, like I'm having arguments with people. I lose my mind when I touch down Seoul. I'm just kind of glad I didn't get placed there, but I know it's God's work to put me here because He knows my heart won't be able to handle Seoul because I would be like getting into problems with people. And I'm just here to teach. I ain't trying to cause no problems. When I do go clubbing, people say, show me, I'm sure you can dance. What if I can't dance? Like, what? Why are you saying I can dance? They're assuming, yes, every black person knows how to dance. That's another issue too. People start trying to slap my bum, like, you know, they fling out their cameras trying to take a picture of my bum. Like, Africa is used as an insult here. Like, oh, ha 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 ha, Africa. Why is that? Why do you need to use that as an insult? So I find that really rude. I'm an African woman. Yes, I'm from Britain, but I'm African. So don't use that as an insult. One time I was with a friend and someone said, oh, Africa Salam? I was like, yeah. And then my friend said, why would I not be okay? Yes, I'm African, and so what? Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And so my school life has been great so far. They've had a black teacher twice, actually. They're not really surprised by me, but there was this one new kid. And I've never seen him before, and I was like, oh, is he new? So I looked at him, I said, oh, are you new? Because they don't tell you when you have a new child in your class, you just kind of get surprised. He just looks at me, never said anything. So the next lesson, he came back again, and he sat down, and then he just scribbling. I'm like, hey, it's time to listen. So eyes on me. He's scribbling. I go over now. He's like, teacher. I'm like, yeah. So I look on the paper. Please tell me why he drew. And he took the time to color it in brown and black, right? And he's pointing at it and at me. And he's rubbing my flipping hand, saying my skin's like, I know what dong means in Korean. Dong. Like, he's telling me that my skin's like, I shouldn't be laughing at. I didn't laugh at the situation when it happened, but now, just looking back, it's like, how...
Well, one thing on a personal note, since my wife, well, she's younger than my wife, so since she looks like my wife, the teacher that's talking, that's going to make me think, you know, will my wife have some of the same type of problems if I bring her with me to Korea? Because there's no way she's going to let me go to Korea by myself. So, so that's going to be a problem right there, personally. And another thing too is, if people, how would they react if I try to work out over there? If people think I'm dangerous, or if somebody assumes that I'm athletic, so you think I'm naturally athletic, so it's going to be easier for me to learn these moves. So what? You don't really explain them to me? I mean, But even if I let that go, see, this is the thing. If I let that go, I guarantee you, what my wife would do if I said we're going to go to Korea, first thing she's going to do is ask, do they have any problems with racism? And if I try to cover it up, what's she going to do? She's going to all of a sudden turn into a super techie lady and start Googling and finding these type of videos that are telling you that there's still some problems with foreign-born black people who visit Korea. So, again, like I've said, I would have never guessed this. I didn't experience this interacting with martial artists. So that's kind of making me think that maybe, just throughout humanity, martial artists just tend to be more open-minded people as a whole. And I know I've said in a couple of my other videos, especially the Bakari Henderson ones, that a lot of times xenophobic people stay within their little enclave deliberately so they don't have to interact with anybody that's not them. So maybe that's this type of phenomenon where you went deep enough into another territory, socially speaking, in this case physically too, because it's another country, and you found the extremist xenophobic holdouts that like all the regular people up front. If you could think of it like a crowd, and all the nice people up front, they pushing the people in the back that are embarrassment. You finally pushed through the crowd enough to where you finally got to those type of people. But it's still not going to make me not like Taekwondo, because I think General Choi made a good art. So it's like I'm still going to study Taekwondo or Tang Sudo. I'd really like to go back to Tang Sudo. So maybe still study Tang Sudo or Kumdo, Judo, Aikido. It's not going to stop me from wanting to train in Korean martial arts, because I can separate an individual from a group. I don't have to come on the internet and act like everybody from a group does what the people who are doing something wrong do. Okay? I know not to do that. But still, if there's a problem, I'm just going to be honest, still call out some stuff. So, in case you're wondering, I've taken, 20 minutes to say this. If you're wondering why perhaps an African American instructor has not been to the country of origin where your martial art has come from, maybe they fear that they may experience racism. And now you can look at me, right? And because I'm a man, you're not going to feel sorry for me. You can look at me and say, man, just man up. Just don't worry about people doing. Okay, fine. You going to tell my wife to man up? Is my wife supposed to man up? Because if you notice, in these examples I gave, it seemed like the women were having more problems than the men, because I didn't find too many problems of what men were experiencing, except for that guy that's a real popular entertainer in Korea whose name escapes me. He had said in a video I watched of him that some woman told him, "What are you doing here, you black fatherless child?" Not using the term. Go back. She said, no, I don't think she said go back to Africa. I think she said, go back to your country or get out of our country. And this was an old lady that said this to him. Now, men are like, you say something to me, I'll bust you in my face. But you can't bust an old lady in her face. That's kind of like, how do you handle that other than ignore it? So that's how a black person who's a Korean martial artist looks at the racism that's in pockets of Korea. That's their problem. It's not going to stop me from training in a Korean martial art. It's not the reason why I made Cecil Ryu Taekwondo. I made Cecil Ryu Taekwondo because I feel like we need to tweak things that now that the general gave us so that civilians can have more options other than the percussive ones. So, and you know what? There's one more reason why an instructor may not have gone to the country of origin of the martial arts from. It has absolutely nothing to do with race. the instructor can't afford it. Maybe they can't afford it. Do you know how expensive it is to go to some of these countries? I've looked at the plane fare because I wanted to go to Japan. I wanted to go to India. Wanted to go to Ethiopia. Wanted to go to South Africa. It's expensive, man. Stuff costs a lot of money. It's hard for me to pay to go to New York when I go visit people. That costs $300 sometimes. And it can cost thousands of dollars to go to another country. Are you serious? Most of us don't have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 grand laying around. When I hear people that work, like when they're from India, they're like, yeah, we're going to go back to India. They plan that. When people are taking these trips overseas, they got to plan the trip out to go overseas, man. So it's expensive to travel overseas. Maybe your instructor has just not had the money to pay to go overseas. Did you ever think about that? Instead of some kind of super duper derelict conspiracy or lack of something, sometimes it's financial too. It's not even racial. So that's all I have to say about that. Thank you for taking the time to watch this really long video. Like, comment, subscribe, donate if you want to. And, you know, let's not let the few Grinches that might be in South Korea steal away the Christmas of Korean martial arts that have gone out to the rest of the world.